Alright, welcome back. I'm going to return the favor of Najaf, who commented one of my recent matches, and I am now going to dissect his own tactics to see what he is up to. I haven't actually watched the match yet, so basically anything is still unknown to me, and I'm just gonna check the basic layout. So what do you have? Well, first of all, so what do we have? It's only a 3 versus 3 match with a ton of buildings, which is very favorable for shotgunners. Thankfully, also the map seems to have like 2 shotgunners in each room, in each team, which are probably going to be extremely decisive, as the MGs cannot cover all that much. In the beginning, that MG might actually be positioned up here somewhere and cover the whole entrance area, but then again, those shotgunners will probably for the whole match never stay outside of any building for too long. So even if the MG will cover an area, he can get a view on the different buildings, which is of course very, very important. You always need to get an idea of where the opponent is heading, but in the end he won't get much impact with the MG. Same for that MG, which doesn't even have a clear viewpoint on anything yet and is in danger of getting rushed from two sides, from that shotgunner and from that shotgunner. So it's going to be interesting how that turns out. Alright, so closer look. Those two guys, as I said, the MG will likely, who's Najaf is green. The MG could be positioned back here for a view over the whole map. The problem with that is that the other MG is looking quite directly into that position. Maybe you could walk a little bit to the side so that they wouldn't see each other, then pop back up from ducking. Maybe that would work. Other than that, he could also just let the MG somewhere stay in the entrance and just have it cover, because as I said, there isn't really any danger for that MG whatsoever. Like, even if that MG somehow makes it in a decent position, it's not going to be in the field, and he's certainly not going to get a clear shot on that MG position. So the best spot will be just stay here. That shotgunner will probably just walk down in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't really matter where he's going. He could walk from outside, yeah, to the right of the building. He could also walk in the middle or on the left, but it doesn't really matter at the moment. The most difficult or the most important part about this would be if CzarTim would be able to get a view on what happens. Maybe you can do that if he is moving a little bit forward to get a view on basically all different possible ways where green could enter. But that again might be extremely dangerous if the MG up here comes out and starts shooting from behind that cover. The other MGs is basically complete free fall, because they will just move around the buildings, and this is really hard to estimate what they might do. This is probably the trickiest situation in the whole map at the moment. It's shotgunner versus shotgunner, which we had one of those shotgun standoffs in one of the videos yesterday. But Red is of course in a much bigger advantage here, because he doesn't necessarily need to do much, and he can slowly close in with that shotgun or with that shotgun, and even with the MG if he is not caring about that buff, but he should, so he probably won't do it with the MG. But yeah, he could probably still close in pretty quickly via the window on the left, and with that shotgun to cover the window and the entrance way. So that's probably a pretty safe bet. Alright, so that's the basic gist of it. So other than that MG probably covering the area, what might happen here? Tough call. The shotgun could move back to get a little bit more safety, because Red can't reach this very easily, and he also has more support from the top. As you can see, it's also pretty important to see where people can fall into your back and which areas of the map you sort of semi-control at the moment. Green is in the top of the map and red in the bottom. So let's just see what happens. Alright, so basically everything as expected. The shotgunner moved up to that area to close in a little bit. The other shotgunner was very cautiously moving around the corner to cover the entrance. That shotgunner moved up so he wouldn't get flanked immediately from the red shotgunners. The MG moved into position on the window. Actually, it's still ducked, so he hasn't, so he isn't visible yet. But he will just get up next round, and there's, as I said, there's no danger for that guy at the moment at all. And he also stayed down here to get a clear view on what's happening. So, red knows that green is in position. And I think Najaf also knows... No, he doesn't. Najaf didn't check. That is actually important, those kind of small checks. As you can see here, Najaf didn't check with the MG down to see what the other MG is doing. And I don't think the shotgunner ever had a clear view. So Najaf actually currently does not know where the red MG is hiding or what the red MG is doing. It was likely that it would stay here, but he doesn't exactly know where, and he might try to rush with the shotgunner for the MG, but since he doesn't quite know where the MG is hiding, it's tough to make concrete calculations on how fast and quickly he can close in the gap and if he can actually hit the MG. Seems likely that he would just walk into the room and maybe try to recon the area through the window, maybe. Maybe he's also gonna rush immediately because if he goes in from here and then town, he could. I don't know if it's enough, but he might be able to get the whole area. But we're gonna see about that in a minute. This is probably gonna continue the same way. Green is covering all entrances. He doesn't necessarily need to move because if the red shotgunners move in, it doesn't really matter in which door, like that way, that way, that way, or even there. Green would either not be visible or would just get them on the first shot. So that shotgunner will likely not move or shouldn't move. And red is trying to close in some more to get a better read on the situation, while also checking out what the other MG is doing. So there's probably not much going to happen in turn 2 other than maybe this situation. Alright, the shotgunner stayed put as expected, and let's look at this again. That was a very unfortunate move from red because he had a pretty decent position down here where he couldn't have been hit from green. I'm not sure if green actually moved. No, he didn't. He just moved up. If red had actually stayed in that corner, which wasn't a bad position, that MG wouldn't have been able to see him, and he would have likely gotten that shotgunner. So that probably decided the match right there. Because now red has no backbone of support whatsoever, and he has now, instead of being able to to cross in on this shotgun immediately, he just will need to break up his defensive formation to take care of the incoming shotgunner from behind. Very unfortunate. Let's quickly look at it again. He also made that quick check to the right if the MG was actually walking back there. That was also a smart move. But as I said, he might have gotten the MG if he just stayed put. Or maybe they both tried that situation and noticed that the MG had no chance, which is why he moved. Hard to say at the moment, but unfortunate. So what's going to happen here? The MG, of course, won't move at all because he's in no danger whatsoever. As I said, it's pretty important also that you manage to judge situations and positions and know when you need to either move or just can leave the position where it is. Alright, so what's gonna happen here? Well, I think green doesn't know where red is at all. And because he also has no viewing angle on any of the shotgunners. And red knows that the green shotgunner is here, so it would probably be best for red to make a move as long as he still has a tangible knowledge on the position of green. Yeah, so the problem is how to structure that. Like, he needs to immediately get this guy covering any door. Like, maybe just get him in here to cover that and that door in case the green guy walks around. And then he can basically cover all entrances for both shotguns from the side, unless this shotgun moves down. But again, it's unlikely that this shotgun will move much right now, because green is still unsure whether red is just right around the corner or on the other side of the map. So let's continue. That red guy changed his position, which he actually didn't need to do. That was pretty dangerous. And that guy closed in on this shotgun because red still knows that the green guy is up here somewhere. Najaf is playing that very smartly by just having that guy stay put because he's still incredibly safe. The MG just keeping an eye on any situation that is happening. And also using that shotgun to walk around the whole perimeter because, as I said earlier, I would have tried to get the entrances tight. So with that shotgun above and with the other shotgun, sort of that area. And if you had covered that area, you would also get the area down here. So Najaf was sort of hoping that red would just cover any entrance or the area up here and just be able to fall from the back, which of course will work now if red is actually splitting up his units, which he of course needs to do because he is currently behind. So let's just see, he will just walk more. They will probably also just walk around to check the area, but and this guy might try to walk into the room and be dead within a second. That is fun. Like that is also something that I really like to do. If you enter a viewing angle at the last millisecond, then you can check out the area, and if it's advantageous for you, in this case, if red would get the shot in and would win this standoff, he could just let the time continue, and if he can't, he just moves back an inch to the door. Green still. Oh, that was very smart. As I said, I would have covered more or less that whole area with that shotgunner. And since he was moving all the way around it, he would have just seen right through that. And he's getting a real good look with that one shotgunner on the whole scene. That was really smart. Like, he had that shotgun, that MG blocking all the entrances. And that shotgunner to walk around the whole thing and just see what it's about. I think he also knows where red is at now, right? Let's just check that again. Red saw green, but I think green didn't see red. So since green is probably trying to continue to move along this way around the perimeter because the shotgunners still cannot actually hit each other, red might try to close in from behind to get the shot on green. And this is also going to be interesting how that's going to be resolved now, so let's just continue. So that was unfortunate. Apparently the shotgunners were too close to each other to move the army. I had to move the soldier back again. He also moved his MG to see if the one of the shotgunners would be hiding on that side and he could get the shock from the distance. I'm a bit surprised that despite Red seeing that Green was walking right along this path, that he just stayed put instead of following up. Since he was running, I think he was running, right? Yeah, he was running, so it would have been hard to get him either way. And he was even checking back. Ooh, that's something that I also used to forget a lot. So that would have been hard for Red either way. And in the 6th turn, he's probably gonna, I don't know, maybe rush the whole area. Like to try to get a shot in on that guy who missed. Yeah, that was a little bit too late. Like he was still trying to follow the green guy who we saw walking away. Anyway, that was a really interesting match because of how the shotgunners were basically hiding and dominating the building area, and how they needed to consider the MG. Also, one thing that you really need to pay attention to, if the MG is up here, let's go back a bit. If the MG is up here, he has a good viewing angle on several parts of the map, and you really need to consider what he can actually look into. Like I think Green actually managed, like I think Najaf positioned that MG in a way that he can look through those doors so he sees any movement down here. So if you walk through that area, even if the MG won't kill you, he immediately knows the position of that soldier even through a million doors. Anyway, interesting match. So let's just keep the match walking, running for the whole thing again, and then I'm gonna see if I do another one.